While swimming speed is an absolutely critical aspect of going fast, if swimmers aren't being effective with their turns, it's going to cost them a lot of speed and it might even cost them races. There's been multiple analyses that looked at which factors determine performance outcomes, and almost always turns are a huge part of that, and in some cases, they can be the most significant aspect of it. So if you're not sure what the key skills are in effective turns, it's going to be a lot more difficult to develop effective strategies to improve those turns, and that means swimmers are going to be leaving performance on the table. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. While there are nuances and aspects of turns that can be important, we're going to focus on the big picture strategies that swimmers need to execute in order to have effective turns. We can focus on what really matters and what matters unquestionably. It's going to be a lot easier to help swimmers improve their turns and help them go fast. There are three key aspects that we're going to cover here. The first aspect is that swimmers need to maintain their speed into the turn without hesitating. The second aspect is that they need to tuck tight to get a fast flip turn. And the last aspect is they need to push off straight so that they can minimize the amount of resistance they create coming off the wall. While there are other subtleties that can be relevant in certain circumstances, these are the three key skills that swimmers have to do effectively if they want to have fast turns. If they hesitate into the wall, it's going to take more time. It's going to make it more difficult to flip. If they don't flip tight, they don't flip fast, it's going to take more time. And if they don't push off straight, they're going to lose all the speed they generate from that strong push off. Let's check it out. So if we watch these swimmers here, what you'll notice is that there's zero hesitation into the wall. With their last stroke, they're going into the turn, they're executing that turn, they're not waiting to make it happen. They're just going right into it, and there's no hesitation. So a key aspect of an effective flip turn is knowing when to start that flip turn and how to make it happen at the appropriate time so that swimmers can maintain all of their momentum into the wall as opposed to giving it all up, either pausing into the wall or having to short chop their strokes and then finishing really close to the wall where again, they kind of lose all their speed. So having an effective approach to the wall is really, really important as it allows swimmers to transition smoothly into their turn, and it allows them to do so without losing the speed that they've generated while swimming fast on the surface. So the same is true of backstroke as in freestyle. They're going to smoothly transition, they're going to time their rollover at the appropriate time, and they're going to roll right into that turn without hesitating, without pausing. It's one continuous fluid movement. And the more swimmers can do that, the more momentum they're going to maintain, the more speed they're going to generate into the wall, which means the more speed they can generate out of the wall. So being really consistent and really fluid with their approach is really critical because it allows swimmers to hold the speed that they've worked so hard to generate on the surface of the water. The next key skill is tucking really tight because that allows swimmers to get through the turn itself really fast. And the key skill with tucking tight is bringing the knees to the chest. We can see that swimmer right there. The knees are flat to the chest, and that's going to allow for a much smaller ball, and that's going to allow them to rotate a lot faster. One of the mistakes a lot of swimmers make is they try to keep their heels to their butt, where that doesn't necessarily allow them to tuck tight. But if they bring the knees to the chest, like this swimmer is doing here, if you watch the feet over the surface, they're necessarily going to be low to the water because the knees are so tight to the chest. So the more swimmers can keep things tight with the turn itself, bring the knees to the chest, the faster they're going to be able to rotate, and then the faster they're going to be able to get through the turn. It's a skill a lot of swimmers struggle with, and the simplest way to think about getting tight is, again, bringing the knees, punching the knees to the chest. That creates a tight ball that allows for faster rotation and allows swimmers to get through the turn fast. Finally, swimmers need to push off the wall with a great streamline and be really effective at maintaining their alignment coming off the wall. If they push off the wall with a giant arch in the back, if they push off the wall with sloppy streamline, if they push off the wall in the wrong direction, they're either going down or straight up, it's going to immediately put on the brakes and they're going to lose all the speed that they've created with a really strong push, pushing off a solid object, and they're going to give it all back, and they're going to give it all back fast. So what's really important is that everything is stacked up in a line from head to toe, everything's straight, everything's moving forward, and the more that swimmers can do that, the more that they're going to carry the speed that they generate going into the wall, coming off the wall. They're going to hold all that speed into the next lap, and that's going to set them up for a really effective lap, because if they have to re-accelerate coming off the wall, it's going to cost a lot more energy and it's going to be slower, and that's ultimately going to lead to slower surface swimming. So while turns can seem really complicated and they can be challenging to help swimmers learn, ultimately what swimmers have to do is really, really simple. They have to approach the wall with high speed and they have to initiate the turn without pausing or without hesitating. Then they have to tuck tight to get through the turn fast. And the best way to do that is to drive the knees to the chest. That's going to get them into a really tight ball. It's going to get the heels to the butt, and they're going to be able to flip fast. And then finally, they need to be really good about pushing off the wall with great alignment and really great strength. And that's going to help generate a lot of speed and maintain a lot of speed going into the next lap. If you want to learn more about the simple skills that swimmers need to master in order to have an effective start, check out the video below.